Hello, my name's Jim Huddy. I'm a GP endoscopist in Cornwall, and I want to tell you about how we're using fecal calprotectin down here in Cornwall. It's February 2022, so as you might be aware, fecal calprotectin is a protein that's released in the stool in response to inflammation in the gut. And generally speaking, if it's raised, that suggests conditions like inflammatory bowel disease that needs hospital assessment and treatment. And if it's normal, then usually that can be safely managed in primary care. So we developed a pathway, well actually we sort of stole it from York with permission from Dr. James Turville, thanks to him. We copied the York pathway and we published it in Cornwall just over 18 months ago in the summer of 2020. Now, looking at the pathway here, you can see that if someone's got symptoms that are typical of IBS, don't use this pathway. And similarly, if it's typical of inflammatory bowel disease, don't use this pathway. But if you're undecided if it's one or the other, then that's when it's sensible to use the fecal calprotectin test. Now, if the result is low, under 100, then that's very reassuring that there's no inflammation going on. If it's raised, then what needs to happen is a repeat test after a couple of weeks. This is really important because about a third of raised levels, even if they're quite high, do normalise on the second test, and then that cuts out false positives. So, assuming the test is raised twice, at that point gastroenterology referral is advised, and if it's high, then an urgent referral is the best course of action. Now, it's all very well producing a guideline like this and displaying it on the Referral Management Service website, but are we actually doing what the pathway says? Because there's not much point otherwise. So there's various questions to be answered within this pathway, and we're wondering if you might be able to help out with that. Number one, how many requests are GPs making per month? Within Cornwall, we think about 200 is the ideal number to make this pathway most effective. Number two, do any normal calprotectins get referred to the hospital, and if so, do they get colonoscopies? If they do, that's kind of bad because that's what we're trying to avoid with all of this. Number three, do all raised levels get a repeat level? And as I say, that's really crucial because about a third of them normalise, which is why this pathway is so powerful. Number four, do any of the repeats that end up normal get referred? Because like we said before, we don't want normal calprotectins being referred to the hospital, and if they are, we don't want them getting scoped. Number five, if the repeat is raised and it's moderately raised, then are those patients getting referred to gastroenterology routinely? And if the repeat test is high, over 250, that's when we suggest an urgent gastro referral. That's the whole point of it. But are we doing it? That's the difficult question. So there's various people that might be able to help us in analysing this. Steve Sprague works in chemistry, and he's been very kind with his time helping us to identify some of this data, but it's possible that those from the Referral Management Service or Cornwall or the hospital information services might be able to help out, find out some of the answers to some of those questions. If you can, please email me, jameshuddy@nhs.net. Very kind of you. Thanks for your time. Bye-bye.